Hello and welcome to another week of astrological forecasts with me. I'm Natha Campanella. I'm a professional astrologer and I use astrology as a tool to help you figure out what's going on in your life and figure out how to manage it, especially when things feel stressful. And this week we are talking about the week of February 17th through the 23rd. And Mercury just went into retrograde. We will have that happening for the next few weeks. It's going to begin its retrograde course in the sign of Pisces. We are also entering Pisces season this week as the sun moves into Pisces later on in the week. And we have quite a Neptune / Pisces feel that is beginning to descend on us. And something to remember about Pisces and Neptune is that we can space out a little bit. We can get very illusioned. We can be disillusioned. And there's a connection between Jupiter and Neptune that's going to be happening all year, but we're in the middle of a direct hit where those illusions and disillusions are going to be somehow magnified. So know that Mercury in retrograde is going to show us some of the places where we have avoided conversations, maybe where we have just simply detached from what we know we need to say, what we know we need to do. And we still have astrology that feels a little bit rough, right? Like we're not through that period of time where we are cultivating change in our lives. And so Mercury retrograde, not to say that it's going to show up and like throw a wrench in the entire plan. It's just that we might find it a little bit difficult to adjust to some of the messages and lessons that we're getting. Because what's happening is that we're going to see, and we've been seeing situations, maybe relationships, maybe that are falling apart in some way. And sad but true, they're falling apart because of decisions that we have made, that we're responsible for. And so in a way, it's really empowering to look at it like that, because when we take responsibility for the dysfunction in our lives, for the non-communication and the checking out that we do to avoid feeling the hard feelings, then we hold the power, because we're the ones that can say, all right, I know I've been doing this thing and I want to change it. And so show me what I need to do. And as I'm talking, you probably know some of the places in your life that need to have some change. And unfortunately, it is human nature that we change the fastest, the most, directly when we have hardship, right? Because when we have good fortune, then we're living the high life. Why should we change anything? So if you're listening to this and you like me have been having like a very activated last few weeks, maybe even past several months, know that it's really here trying to get your attention. And that's sort of the deal with the astrology, right? Is that it's here. The planets act like teachers that come along and try to get our attention so that we can shift, so that we can grow. Know that, of course we're going to resist it. And in Pisces season, I want you to be really, really mindful of the ways that you resist, right? Pisces is very connected to using drugs and alcohol and other mindless ways of escaping from the things that don't feel good. So when you find yourself doing that, question, what happened that I'm avoiding? What am I not wanting to see here? What am I not wanting to feel? And that takes courage. It does. It's easier to numb. But in a time of deep changing and deep reorganization of your life, it is important to be as present as possible with what the universe is trying to teach you and what your higher self is wanting you to learn. So speaking of Pisces season, I will be releasing a new episode of my podcast, Star Narratives, that will be a solo cast, and we're going to talk all about Pisces and what it means and how to make the most of it. So check out later this week, that episode will be dropped. You can always follow me on social media if you want to get alerts about those kinds of things. And just be aware this week, especially as we're moving into the first week of Mercury retrograde, around spreading yourself too thin. That is a Mercury tendency that we have, and another way that we tend to check out, right? We just get so busy that we don't have time to feel. So I encourage you this week to really feel into what's there. Feel into what wants to change. Feel into the things that you have been avoiding and not wanting to deal with. Because if you can do that, then all these changes that I keep talking about that are building up for the next several months, they're going to come easier, right? We won't have to get quite so deeply into hardship to make those changes. All right. If you find that this message could help somebody, share it with them, tag them. Of course, always leave me comments if you have questions, and you can send me direct messages as well. And of course, if you want to work with me privately, a personal astrology reading, or I have several other offerings, check my website at nathacampanella.com. Have a really good week. Bye.